Hey guys, welcome to another video. And I know it's been a while. I've been dealing with a lot of stuff the past couple months, so I think this is like the third video I've done this year, or the start of this year. So it's nice to be able to do something today and kind of get some more videos out to you guys. So today we're going to be doing the belt. Car only has about 80,000 miles, so I'm sure the belt on the car is not bad. I have noticed that there is a couple little cracks and breaks in the belt itself. So to me, you know, it's not going out, but it's probably a good idea to just kind of get started, just get it replaced. For you average drivers out there that have your stock hood, you probably be fine up until I believe 100,000 miles is when they recommend to change it. The only thing is that because I do have vents, the elements get into the engine bay. So I'll get a lot of water, I'll get a lot of dirt, oils and stuff like that from driving, or you know, whatever ends up getting in there. Now you would think it'd be the opposite while I'm driving, while you know all the heat's escaping, which is true, but in this case, especially because there's been a lot more rain in SoCal, it's just been a lot more prone to getting water in there. So, you know, if I were to show you, you'd essentially just have little pieces of being able to see where the belt is. From my understanding, this is fairly easy. Anybody can do it. So for those of you who are going to be pro charging or doing any of that sort that needs a belt, for the most part, this would kind of help you out as far as the way the diagram goes. And I'll have the diagram up there so you guys can see it, the configuration of how the belt should go. And I'll show you guys before I actually pull the belt off. And I'm going to do my best to get you guys step by step and show you the work I'm doing. So for those of you who have reached out or said something about not being able to show you what I'm doing, I'm going to try. But what I have here is a Gates belt. The product number is here, but I'll also throw it in the description down below. The shop was able to get this for me. I don't think it was that expensive. I think it was like 30 bucks, something of that sort. Couldn't get an AC Delco one, but this should work just fine. Gates belts are some of the best ones out there, so you'll be fine to get a Gates belt. That being said, though, should be fairly simple. We won't have to do too much. What we'll do is we'll take the heat shield off, we'll take the intake off, and I don't think we need to take the throttle body off, but we'll have to see where the tension bearing is, so that way we can, or tension pulley, I should say, not bearing. Tension pulley is, so that way if we can get some leverage to loosen up the belt, take it off, put the new one back on, and then put everything back. So it should be very, I say simple, sometimes that's not always the case, so let's hope. But yeah, let me show you guys what it looks like right now. Intake is here, heat shield is there. So what we're gonna do is, you know, we're gonna disconnect this, that, just take this tubing out. We gotta remove that. So there's a bolt right over here. Mine is not the stock one. I had to put an aftermarket one because I lost the bolt that holds that in at a track day randomly. Yeah, we're gonna take that off, then just take the oil cap off for a second so we can pop it off, put it back on, take that off, and we should have a little more room in there. Now, you know, the belt doesn't look terrible. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it doesn't look too bad. But as you can see, there is a crack right there. Let me see if I can get you down there. So there is a crack right there, and I believe that, nope, that is not the tensioner pulley. So we're just gonna get it replaced, so that way, you know, it's a new belt, and we're good to go, you know, for the next, you know, 100,000 miles on the car. If, you know, we're not gonna do anything massively crazy. But I'm also just gonna inspect things, just make sure that nothing's cracking, nothing is going on as far as the pulleys go, no weird bearing stuff. Just make sure it's all nice and neat. Not that I believe this might be the issue, but one thing that I've been looking up is a bad pulley could potentially, I'm not saying it does, it could potentially cause some power loss just because it might be slipping a little bit and it's not really, you know, distributing some of the power around. I don't know if that's true. Read that it could possibly cause some issues. I don't know, probably with the alternator, probably not charging things correctly or getting spark to the spark plugs, driving the AC or something. Like I said, this is all preventative stuff that I'm doing, so it's not something that you have to do. Just figured I'd make a video out of it and show you guys how to do it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and take this off and have it ready, and then I'll just kind of show you where the tensioner pulley is and just kind of show you how easy it is. So let's get to it. All right, so as you guys can see, I have the intake off. I ended up taking off this, I wanna say it's the PCV, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But I took that off just to give me a little more room. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. So I did take a photo of what this looks like anyway, just because I'd rather be on the safe side to make sure that, you know, I accidentally forget, or, you know, I don't want to open up my laptop to get the actual diagram. I have an easy way of being able to see it. So in looking at it, that one right there, this one is the tension pulley. It's kind of easy to remove. So the way to know which way to turn it is the way that it's the opposite direction of what it's pulling. So if it's pulling the belt this way, we're gonna wanna pull it that way. It most likely will either lift slightly or just kind of turn a bit. At that point, we'll be able to just move it over a little bit. So I'm gonna try and get you guys an angle so you can see it. I don't know how well I'm gonna be able to do that. So if I can't show you, I'll try and kind of grab the camera so I can show you what it's gonna look like. But in putting the belt on and stuff like that, I need both hands. So it's gonna be a little bit harder to do that, but let me see what I can do. So let's get to it. Figured out a way to be able to kind of show you guys. So the pulley's down there, which I hope you guys can see, but it is a 15 millimeter socket, and you're gonna want to make sure you pull it this way, and then it'll loosen up the belt. So go ahead and do that. I'm gonna pull and then just kind of let it relax, and that's it. And you just pull the rest of the belt off. And that's it. So as you guys can see, I mean, there's the crack I was talking about. I mean, it's not in terrible condition. You know, overall, the belt looks pretty good. There's a lot of dirt and stuff that's kind of stuck in the center. Outside has a line on there that I think it was from something, something was rubbing on it in the early stages of when I started doing stuff to the car. But I mean, no cracks on the outside. Everything looks pretty good. Here's the part number of the GM version of this, but what we're using is the Gates one. So let me pull this out and I'll show you guys what that looks like. This is the Gates one, and you know, it's brand new. The fibers look really nice. The rubber looks really good. So I think we're gonna get a little bit more traction as far as the belt goes that it needs to spin everything. Always a good thing just to double check, make sure there are no cracks, no splits anywhere, nothing to, you know, make it a concern, which I don't see. Same for the outside. This is the part number, but I also have that down below as well so you guys can see that. But yeah, looks in really good condition. And as always, you always want to make sure it's the same size as well. So you guys can't see this, but what I'm doing is I have one next to the other and I'm just pulling it as tight as I can. The idea is to see if they're about the same length. You guys can't see it, maybe you can, I don't know, but I'm pulling as tight as I can and then they are the same length. So that is good news. A good thing to do is, you know, make sure you take a photo of what you're doing, and just in case you forget. which I kind of did. So that is the photo I took to give me an idea of which direction the belt needs to go. That being said, I'm going to inspect all the pulleys, make sure there's nothing in between them, maybe get a little toothbrush, try and clean them. The idea is maybe not to turn them. I don't think that'll do anything bad, but always good idea to not turn anything you're not supposed to. So I'm gonna go ahead and inspect these and I'll get back to you. Okay, so what I did is I just checked the bearings. They don't freely spin. So if you spin it, they don't spin very quickly. But I don't hear anything of concern. Maybe these are probably getting to the point where maybe they'll need to be replaced, but I'm not hearing anything, not hearing any rattles or squeaks. The car doesn't squeak in the morning when I turn it on. So far so good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the belt back on and I'll try and show you guys what that looks like. I believe there is a line on the belt itself that I believe you line up with. There is a line there. Here, I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. There is a line right on the top pulley there. I'm going to just line up that piece there with this little line right here. Now, I don't believe that is the reason that's there, just because I've done this before, but on older cars. So could be that that's just an indicator for newer cars, possibly, but I don't see it on the old belt as far as I can tell, on the outside or on the inside. Quite honestly, I don't think it matters, but never hurts to just try and make sure that you get things lined up. That being said, I know I just said do not move the pulleys. You're gonna move them no matter what you do. It's just part of it's kind of hard not to. So yeah, so let me go ahead. I'm looking at the photo. It needs to go up, straight over, across. That's what we're gonna do. Straight over, across here. It's gonna be pretty tough. Just be forewarned. I'm gonna be dealing with a belt and go straight across this one pulley. Straight across here. The idea is to get it somewhat as close as possible. The hardest part is getting it without pulling the tensioner pulley. So it's gonna be a little bit tough. I'm hoping you guys can see this. I don't have a better light, unfortunately, at the moment. So it goes over the first pulley, goes around the alternator, then it goes over, it's not a tensioner pulley, but I believe it's just like a roller that helps send the belt across towards the tensioner pulley. Then it goes under the crank pulley, and then it'll go around the AC. So that's going to be the part that's going to be tough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to already go ahead and pull the tensioner pulley back to give us that little extra room, so I can get this tucked in to the bottom. And these are supposed to be tight. So what I'm gonna do, actually, I'm gonna pull this off, get this. I'm gonna use the wrench as my guide to keep the belt from falling off. Pull this back. You don't wanna pull too hard and cause it to loosen the bolt. Go. Now here's the biggest thing to keep in mind, is that it's going to stretch over time. There is like some markings there. The idea is to get the belt as close as possible to those markings. Make sure that the belt is not coming off at any point in the pulleys. So just run your hand underneath, around each pulley. Make sure that the belt is on there. Make sure nothing is off. Push down on it. Make sure it's all good. And the other thing to check as well is just to turn it. Make sure nothing is, you know, acting weird. And the crazy thing too is that the tensioner pulley didn't go back a whole lot. So that just means that the old belt was worn out, stretched out. Could have, it's possible that it could have caused some, you know, some weird things. But that's pretty much it. Now it's just putting everything back together and making sure that it's turning on, things are spinning, and you know, the belt's not gonna fly off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put everything back. I'm gonna clean the throttle body real quick because definitely needs a little cleaning. But I'm gonna clean that real fast and then turn the car on, let it just kind of spin here to make sure nothing's acting up, sounding weird. And then as long as everything is running okay, then I'll take it out for a quick test drive. Just drive around for a little bit, make sure the belt doesn't come flying off. The good thing is that I still have the old belt, so if I need to jump back to it, I can. So don't get rid of it. You never know. If anything, leave it in your car. Honestly, I didn't need much for this. I needed a screwdriver, a small little wrench to take off that piece. I mean, you could leave the piece off until you know that the belt's running well. But yeah, I mean, all I really needed was a screwdriver, 15mm socket with a, you know, wrench. I needed to use this to take the shielding off. So if you don't have it, you don't have to worry about it. And I was able to access it fairly quickly. So, yeah, let me just get back onto this part, put everything back together, and we should be good to go. If the car starts a little weird, it's going to retard itself to align things, just because if you move something, you know, it's probably just trying to get it back into, you know, working order. So just be cognizant of that. Now, if something's really going off and the car is not clearing itself after you turn it on, turn it back off, try and realign things again, so then that way you can get it set properly. But it's not like it's, you know, it should clear itself. So let's put everything back together and see what it sounds like. Got everything back together. Did a couple little things, cleaned the throttle body. I trimmed down my intake because this was starting to rub a bit. So I wanted to prevent it from going further. And so I trimmed it down a little bit so that way I'd have some clearance right there. So yeah, now it's time to turn the car on and let's just make sure everything is working good. Let's just hope. So let's see. All right, so here we go. We'll see if any check engine lights come on. All right, well, as you guys saw, there was a little hesitation here and there at first start, but it wasn't too bad. The RPMs have calmed themselves down. No check engine lights as of right now. I need to put in my other tire pressure sensors because they're still in Chelsea's car, which is over there. So let's just go check the belt. Let's make sure nothing is flying off and everything is good. All right, so everything looks good. Everything looks okay to me. I don't see any issues there. Everything seems to be running perfectly with the pulleys. That's the one right there. That is for the air conditioning. So don't have to worry too much about that one. No squeaking, nothing sounds weird. Engine sounds healthy. I don't hear any issues. Yeah, I just need to clean this up a little bit. I'm gonna change out a couple things, but other than that, everything sounds fantastic. Yeah, So now it's just time to put everything back, take it for a quick test drive, and then yeah, I'll just finish this video once I'm done with that. Just came back from doing a quick test drive and see if anything was weird. Car drove great. Weird bogging. Actually, the car seemed to run just a little bit better. I did drive without the intake shielding, so I'm sure that's probably it. And probably placebo effect, to be quite honest. I can't tell whether or not that it's something that really made a huge difference, but overall I'm seeing the alternator charging rate much higher. I don't know, it's staying up a lot more steadier, and I don't know, the car just sounds a little bit healthier. And did a little pull, no, belt didn't fall off. I just decided to give the car a little wash just because I won't have a moment to do it the next few days. Overall, the install or the replacement was very, very simple. Have to take off the intake, pull that tensioner pulley, and that's it. I mean, I think it was the hardest part was probably putting it back on, and you just needed I think if you had help or you had somebody to kind of help you push the tensioner pulley a little bit more so you can kind of get it where it needs to, it'd be much easier. Probably do what I did, and that is route what you can and leave the condenser last, so then that way you can pull the tensioner pulley, or you can leave your socket there and your wrench, and then you can pull the belt off of that, and then you can route it right where you need to go, especially right, it's a little tight there. So if you can get it around the condenser, at that point, you just pull the tensioner pulley, you can do two hands, and then you can just push it over. And you might need to just give it a little bit of love. If the bolt comes loose, just make sure you check the torque specs to get it back to spec, so then that way you can try it again. It shouldn't come loose. You probably need to give it a good for that tensioner pulley bolt to get loose, because it needs to, you need to give it a little extra force. But it was easy. Again, all the information will be down below. Massive thank you to JBA Speed Shop for, getting me the parts. I had the parts for a few days and I haven't had the time to actually do it. Yeah, I probably won't be having a whole lot of videos for the next few months. I'm getting married in 3 months, so today is March. We'll probably have one more racing video in May when we go do some time trials up in Lone Pine, which is not too far from my parents' house and my hometown. So very excited to go up there and do some racing. So I will definitely get some more footage of that. Unfortunately, we weren't able to go to Muscle Cars at the Strip. It was just a financial thing. We wanted to save some money for the wedding, and for us that was a little more important. But next year, I can guarantee you, oh man, we have a lot of plans, and I'm super excited for the second half of the year. Way more plans, more suspension stuff, and I don't know, maybe we'll see a nice big unit on there, and that belt was done for nothing. But until, you never know what could happen. But again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you guys for being a part of, this whole build. We gotta still do some stuff on Chelsea's car. We've just haven't had time or the money to be able to do both cars. So we've been kind of focusing on mine for now. But once the car is done, then we'll get Chelsea's up to speed as well. So thank you guys again. I appreciate you guys. Leave some comments down below on probably what would you have done differently. I'm sure there's some terminology and stuff that I didn't say that isn't right, so don't bash me on that. I'm doing my best to try and know this lingo, so if something is wrong, just let me know, and I'll do my best to remember and not say dumb stuff. But until then, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.